Hey, Chris here. So a lot of times I get asked to put together a drawing and video the whole thing so people can see kind of the drawing process. And normally I don't do this. Specifically, I don't like to do it because there are a lot of kind of specific rules to the area in which you live, and I don't want to be responsible for the house you built burning down because you followed my instructions rather than whatever instructions are code for your area. So just kind of as a caveat, I want to throw that out there. But an interesting thing came up. My parents decided to renovate a house they own and split it into separate units for rentable spaces. And so they wanted a floor plan put together, and I've got this these hand sketches with a whole bunch of measurements on them. So I'm going to go ahead and put these together. It's going to be a series of kind of 3 videos, and you can kind of follow along and see how I do things, and I'll try and explain some of my methodology here. So let's go ahead and get started. We've got a basement, we've got a first floor, and we've got an upper floor. So let's work on the basement in this video. I'm going to jump over to Autocad. And this is going to sound crazy. Because I don't do a whole lot of architectural work on my own, I don't have a template put together or a block library. So I'm going to be kind of building that as I go along. So you're going to get some little bonus bits here and there as well about block library building and templating and viewing. And I'm going to be using Sheet Set Manager and a whole bunch of other stuff as we go along. So let's jump right into this. You'll notice we don't have any layers. If you watch a previous video that I did, I talked about this scripting system that I kind of threw together in a spreadsheet that lets me kind of auto-populate the layers. And there's a link to that in the comments below and the description below. But I'm going to go ahead and just load that up. So you go to Manage, you go to Run Script, and I've got it right here. I just saved it out. Just be aware there is a version of the script that works pre AutoCAD 2016, and there's a version of the script that works post AutoCAD 2016. 2016 changed some stuff up, so I just had to make some small changes there. So just go ahead and load that up, and you'll notice we have all of our layers now. And I'm going to go ahead and start drawing walls. And just as kind of a rule of thumb when I'm doing this, what I like to do is I like to have my walls all be polylines. I like to have them all be continuous, like a single continuous polyline for the different chunks of the walls. And the other thing I like to do is break out the exterior envelope of the building with the interior partitioning. So we've got layers here for interior wall and for exterior wall, and we're going to kind of work off of those. So let's get started. Let's jump right in here. I'm going to go ahead and move to the exterior wall layer. I like to draw it in the positive quadrant. This is an old shop standard that I was kind of trained on, and I honestly don't know if there's any particularly great reason at this point in things to do this, but it's just kind of the standard de facto what I do. So I like to make sure that I'm working in positive geometric space throughout the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and look back here, and we're going to start with this room right here. So we're going to need to kind of jump around a little bit between layers. You see these are going to be exterior walls, and then we got interior walls here. And there are a few assumptions that I'm going to be making. You'll notice this is all in inches, feet and inches right here. I live in the United States. If you've watched my other videos, you probably know it might really frustrate you that I work in feet and inches. It's just the way that it is around here. So if you work in metric, you're probably going to be doing your drawings in millimeters. By default, my drawings for this case are going to be in feet and inches. So let's go ahead and set our units. I'm going to set architectural. As I said, I've literally not set up a template for architectural yet for myself. So We got all of our layers in, we got all that business in. Let's go ahead and start drawing. So I'm going to do these two walls right here. And what I like to do, sorry, a few more assumptions actually before I talk about that. Going back to the working in imperial units, when you're working in imperial units and you're doing architectural drawing, specifically for renovation like this, first thing to know is that renovated, when you're trying to draw from measurements taken in real space, you're always going to have discrepancies. In this case, I'm fairly positive that we're going to have some sort of discrepancy in here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of work my way around, and I'm going to have to fudge a number at some point to make the whole building square. Otherwise, you have a jog in somewhere, and that's just kind of that's the nature of renovation work. Things are perfect in AutoCAD, but in real life they're not necessarily perfect. So we'll just kind of make it work. The other thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to assume 4-inch thick walls for normal walls, 8-inch thick walls for exterior walls. That's generally the thickness of concrete that you pour for foundation walls, and then 6-inch walls for bearing walls. So and again, I'm familiar with the building, and so I kind of know where they are. They're not really explicitly called out on here, so we're gonna make those assumptions as we go along. But that's where that information is coming from. So let's start with a line here. It goes 107 and then goes up to 141. So, and turn on ortho and go over 107. You can see we're actually zoomed in quite far. We're going to go up to 41. You notice that these are, in fact, two separate entities. They are polylines. They're both polylines. I don't have them joined currently. I'm going to go back and kind of do some cleanup after the fact. But for right now, that should be just fine. So I'm going to take this and copy that over 4 inches. Pardon. That's a bearing wall. I'll take that over 6 inches. Take that down 6 inches. And then I'm going to go ahead and just cap these off. Right there. I'm going to fillet these together for right now. And then I'm going to change layers to my exterior wall layer. Oh, I'm on my exterior wall layer. I'm going to change these to the interior wall layer. Let's see here. Wall interior. Okay. So now I'm going to take that and I'm going to come over 127 inches. And I'm going to come down. This is a little funny here. This window is a little strange. It's wider at the top than it is at the bottom. It's got two jogs in a little bit, and so you can see here you've got a jog and a jog. For the purpose of this drawing, we're going to do like a half wall with a window. We'll see. We'll get to it. What I'm going to do, because I don't have a single measurement for this, I'm actually going to draw 3 separate segments, and then after the fact, I'm just going to merge them together. It's really bad form to have your drawings to have multiple lines that are collinear, if that makes sense. So if you had a line here, and a line here, you select that, you can see we've got endpoints, and that's 3 separate elements of a polyline. And that's really sloppy drafting. So it's good to avoid that. Let's see here, 127. We're going to come down 63.5. Come down another 58.5. We're going to come down another 62 3/4. And then we're going to pull it over 20 inches, but we also know that it's going to come here on a right angle. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And if we measure that, I mean, it is in fact 20 inches, so that works great. And let's see here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull it back, and this doesn't look like it, but this is, so the way it works, this is kind of the front parking space. This is the front of the house, and it's got this this front step, and then underneath it there's a cavity, and it's on the basement level here, it's got kind of a walk-in closet that's underneath the front step. So we're gonna, but this wall here should be all collinear. It doesn't really look like it, but it's all kind of the same space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck this back. The finished wall comes all the way in here, and I'm going to pull this down, and we know we've got 160 inches between here and here. So once again, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of cleanup after the fact, and I know I just told you not to make collinear lines like this. For this case, again, I'm going to have to go back and clean this all up. So let's see here, we got 160, some amount. So again, here we're going to have to work off of interior measurements, and yeah, this is one of those things where when you don't do the measurements yourself, you just kind of have to figure out the system that somebody else did. And in this case, the measurements were taken by my brother, and he knows his way around. We think a little bit differently, so I always look for measurements in different spaces than he does, and he kind of measures them in different spots. So we're just going to have to adapt to that a little bit. So let's go ahead and drop that in, and we're going to keep on rolling with this. Maybe it's not the same. Look at that measurement right there. Super weird. Okay, so this is where, and again, it's just, I'm going to change layers here to that layer. This is where it's really, it's going to be a little sloppy at first. So I'm going to actually skip doors and windows until later. I'm going to come and put them in after the fact. So I'm going to draw a ray in here. I'm going to pull it over 114 and a half. Oops, 114 and a half. And that's going to be 4-inch offset. And then this line right here, draw another array, pull that down. What do we got? 12 inches, 18 inches, 49 inches. So 12, pull it down again, 18, pull it down again, 49. There's a 4-inch wall there. And this distance here, you'll notice this one actually isn't called out. It's called out over here. So we're going to have to kind of come around this side and get that distance figured out. So in the meantime, we can trim this up a little bit. Make that not look like garbage. Fillet these, come on, same day rule, there we go. Fillet these all together. Oh my gosh. That's it, I'm turning the sensitivity down with my mouse, there we go. All right. And switch layers here to the exterior wall layer. I'm just going to drag a line off. I know the building's not longer than that, so. And again, this looks a little deceiving here. It looks like you've got this jog in, but in fact, this is going to be 22 inches that are covering somewhere around here. This isn't to scale, obviously, so the drawing is going to look a little different. I'm going to take this and just pull that guy away and the heck out here too. And at some point we're just going to drop a line straight down the back. So let's work here. Let's work next over here. We don't have the width of the staircase, but we know the distance between here and here. So let's take that. I'm going to change the layers here. Drop a line down there. And 79 inches. And again, this is going to be a 6-inch wall right here. This house was built in the 50s, and it's a little, in the 1950s, it's a little strange how it was constructed. Okay. So we know we can go back 36 inches. I take that back. That's not a 6-inch wall. That's going to a 4-inch wall. So we can come back 36 inches. And we can go over. This is a 6-inch wall right here. And now we've got kind of this space here figured out. And we've got the width of the staircase in as well. One of the things we don't have is the depth of the steps. We know there are 14 steps. I'm going to assume they're standard 11-inch treads. So we've got this wall here. We know we need to come over 129. So that's this one right here. 129. And that's going to be this exterior wall right here. So I'm going to match properties here. That and that, and I'm just going to fillet these together. What is going on there? Wall exterior, polyline. It doesn't like to merge polylines and rays apparently. It's okay, I'll just trim it up. Okay, so there's effectively the envelope of the building. So let's go down 13 feet here. What layer am I working on? Home. I am on wall interior, and that is perfect. And drop array there. Pull it down 13 feet. This screwed me up once I looked at it, and I was like, what on earth is going on there? And that is another 4-inch wall. Let's fillet these together. Kind of clean this up. Oh my gosh, I suck so bad with the fillet command. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Oops. There we go. Okay. And this wall here is going to extend all the way over, so I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to run it through. It's a polyline. Okay. What's that? Okay. Okay. And this door actually comes right up to the bottom of the steps. It's kind of a funky design, so let's get that in here and kind of define this space area. So we got 24 inches there. We've got a 2'6" by 6'0" door, so it's going to be 30 inches here, and that is where things are going to kind of end up. So that's that space. All right. So we got this area up here blocked out pretty well. We're going to worry about this in a bit. Let's work on this bathroom space here. So we got 48¼ inches between this and the shower area, 48.25. Again, that's a 4-inch wall. And then it comes down 39 inches here. And that's to the outside, so we're going to offset in 4 inches. Oh, come on, there we go. This individual picking business has never been my strong suit. There we go. All right, so now we just need to work on this space here. And what do we got? We're going to go back 44¼ to the edge of this wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim that all off right there. That's, you know what, let's work out instead of in. So we're going to start here, and we're going to go 53 inches over. So I'm going to drop array, I'm going to move it over 53 inches. I'm going to copy it over 4 inches. I could use the offset command on this. Probably some of you are probably scratching your heads wondering why I'm not using offset. And the reason is because picking individual lines isn't my strong suit. I don't excel at like individual pick points. I'm fairly decent at, you know, picking a selection, but I'm not. That's not something that I'm really great at, is the picking individual points. You probably noticed already. So I tend to actually stay away from that because I feel like I spend more time on that than actually doing the drawing otherwise. So let's go ahead and pull that over 35 inches. All right. And that's the outside. So it's going to come in 4. And you can see it almost lines up here. In fact, in reality, it probably does line up here. I don't remember this intersection specifically, but it probably does. This is going to come down 6 inches, go back up 4 inches, and then we're just going to trim the daylights out of it. Let's see. Nope, not letting us. It really doesn't like trimming rays, and that's funny. Doesn't like filleting rays to pretty much anything else. I love drawing with rays though. Okay. Clear those out. Okay. We know where this goes to. We know this comes all the way over. This is where things get a little squirrely in here. I gotta figure out what the heck my brother did. Okay, so we got this measurement right here. We're gonna work with that. So we got 12, 33.5, and 12.5, or 21, 33.5, and then 21.5. So I'm gonna pull that over 21. I can pull that over 33.5. Oops. I'm going to pull that over 21.5. Okay, so that should be where that wall is. We're going to go ahead and drop a 4-inch wall there. copy that up 46 inches. And I'm just going to set the layer on that so we don't have layer issues. Trim that stuff off. And we got 87.5 to this wall. 87. So here to here is 87. So I'm going to pull that over 4 inches. All right. So there's the basic internal wall structure. We've got that in, oh, except for this area and that area. Let's go ahead and put those in now. So we know that, drop a array in, pull that over 23.5. And zoom in here. And then this is going to come off the wall 10 inches. All right, then we'll fillet these two together. And it won't let me because it's array. Okay, and then we'll just pull that in 4 inches. And that in 4 inches. I believe this is some sort of like mechanical space right here. And we just trim the daylights out of that. Okay. There's like a water shut-off valve right here, so there's got to be some sort of other like plumbing or mechanical going on there. Okay, let's get the exterior walls in. Actually, let's do a little bit of cleanup really quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a command called overkill. And what overkill does is it just lets you clean the crap out of it. It's going to get rid of segmented polylines and stuff like that and join them all up together. So you can see here now we got a single line instead of a whole bunch of breaks. Same thing here, a single line instead of a whole bunch of breaks. And it makes things really, really quick and easy to clean up. It can also kind of destroy your drawing if you're not careful. Like for instance, oh no, it didn't delete that. That's cool. Okay, so it will delete segments that are on top of each other on the same layer, stuff like that. So just things to be careful of. Let's go ahead and offset 8 inches here, and there, and there, and also there. And then, oh come on, there we go. Fillet these together. So I'm talking about the whole picking thing. I have kind of shaky hands, so the picking individual points thing is a little bit of a struggle. Okay. You notice I talked about how I like to stay in the positive quadrant. I'm actually just going to take this whole thing and move it up to 0, 0. So that should be good right there. All right, door and window openings. Let's jump on that. So we've got, let's work with interior doors first. We've got one, a 2/6 door, comes 24 inches up off of this. So 30 inches. And that's going to be, nope, that's not 30 inches. 24 inches. This is an example of what we call the 10% rule. You have to be 10% smarter than the object you're trying to operate. Let's see. 30. Okay. There's that door. Let's get this door here. This door is a little strange because it's like literally on the wall. This whole house, I was telling you, is a little strange. So it's 2'3". So what is that? 27 inches. Extend that over then this door, I don't remember the width of this. I don't believe this is actually getting renovated. I think this part's actually already done. So this is less crucial to the integrity of the whole design. I'm going to assume it's 4 inches back on either side, which is kind of the minimum that I would ever go when it comes to putting a doorway in anything. And granted, you know, whoever put this whole thing together, it was not me. And we do not share the same sensibilities on everything, but make sure we match prop that so it's all on the right layer. And that's where our shower is going to be. So that's good. Let's get this exterior door in. Pull down here. We need to come down, what, 32 3/4 inches. Pull that over so we can trim off of that one. And it's a 32-inch door. Okay. Let's put this window in as well. And then it looks like we got the concrete. Oh, this is a framed wall that bumps out. Ay, 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 ay. So it's going to come out 4 inches. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, it's a framed wall. It's going to come out 3.5. And that is going to be, I should have just filleted those, one of those wasted clicks. There we go. So this actually is, the wall is framed out to that. It's weird. Don't even ask. Which also means this is going to be framed on the interior here. Well, maybe they just tiled it right on the concrete. They probably did. Everything else is kind of funky, so let's assume that's funky. Okay. So here, oh, we measured this wrong. I thought this was 12 inches and then 18 and then 2.6. So we need to redefine that. So it's going to be 18. That's 48. 18. And a 30-inch door. And we can actually use that to define the door anyway. Get rid of that one. We'll pull that down another 49 inches. So that's where it should actually be. So I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to stretch it down right there. Get rid of that. Okay. So I'm going to come over 12 inches in the 31-inch door. What on earth? Do we assume that those were in the wrong position? I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this back up 6 inches, because that's the difference between 12 and 18. Oops. Oops. There we go. I'm actually going to stretch this whole thing up 6 inches. So this should now be a 12-inch segment. If we look on the properties here, let's see here, delta, 1 foot, 12 inches. And then we've got our thing right there, and that should be what? Yep, it's 49. Okay. So let's take that and try 18 inches. There we go. That's more reasonable. And then we've got a 31-inch opening. There's no door there as it stands right now. So we have to have as-built. My parents need as-built to be able to present to the city, to be able to get a permit, to be able to do renovation. So we're going to do kind of before and afters. And we're working on the befores. So what we need, we got all these. We don't have this window opening. We don't have that window opening, or that window opening, or that window opening, or that door, or that window opening. So let's do this door next. 66.5. 66.5. And that's going to be 2'2", so 26-inch door. And then we'll do this window because, you know, we're like right there. It's 21 over and then 33.5 over. Oops. Let's copy that over 33.5. Match prop that. There we go. The next one, we're going to do this one here, and this is my guess. So it's equidistant on both sides. It's got to be like right in the middle of the wall, otherwise he would have called out some dimension on either side. So what we'll do is, I'm actually just going to draw a line. It's going to be super weird looking. I'm going to draw a line right here. This is the geometric center of this space. So we know that, and it's going to be 32 inches wide, which means 16 inches on either side. 16 there, and 16 there. And then let's go ahead and match prop that. So that's all the same layer. That one's taken care of. Let's do this door here. And again, this one's centered in that space. So let's pull a line off here. And it's 2'6". 2'6" is 30 inches, so it's 15 inches on either side. So 15 there, 15 there. Again, match prop the daylights out of that. And then we're going to go over 62 3/4. And again, I told you this window here is shaped kind of like this. You've got a jog, and then a jog, and then it comes up. And then this is not to scale, but this is kind of the shape of the window. And what he did is called out this space right here, this middle space. So these side spaces aren't there. And this is, again, this is required by egress to have it there. So you can actually get out of the basement. So we're going to go up 62 3/4. And we don't have, you know what? Let's do it right there. 62 3/4. And then it's going to be 58.5. Just go ahead and just match prop these here real quick. A little excited with my click in there. And got that window in. Let's do this window next. So that is 28.5 inches back from this. Oh, come on. There we go. And then 3.5 down. Oh, you know what? Why did I do that? That's what I wanted to do. fact, what I want to do is I want to take that out altogether. It's going to look retarded right now, but we're going to fix it here in just a sec. That's going to be on its own layer. All right. We got that window in. We have this one here. So it's 12 inches of space here, and then it goes over 33.5. Obviously, it doesn't go over 33.5. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to bring it there. And again, this is the kind of the standard of what happens when you're renovating. You're doing drawings for renovating kind of funky old buildings. Like rarely are things square, and because rarely things are square. Oops, there we go. Rarely do you actually get measurements that make that work on one side and work on the other side. It's just, yeah, that's why things need to be constructed well. And I think that is all the wall openings that we need. Just double check this really quick. It's probably one, and someone's probably screaming, there it is, and I'm probably just not seeing it. We still have this little bit here. We don't know how far out it comes, which seems like a bit of an oversight. There's actually ductwork. The way that they, yeah, we could have long talks about how they actually built this building. They, rather than running, it has a forced air heating system. So it's got a furnace back here, and the furnace has got ductwork that kind of goes all over the ceiling here. But rather than running ductwork down, they actually just ran it. They just kind of opened the ductwork up to the space between the joists. It's 2x4 framing, and they just have it kind of blowing down the middle of the wall, which I'm not sure if that's standard or not. I don't know a whole lot about heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, as it turns out. I thought it was a little odd, to say the least. Okay, I think that's it for wall openings. So let's go ahead and drop some stairs in real quick. So floor stairs is where our stairs live. I'm going to drop a line there, and I'm going to, now I freaking hate the array tool now. I'll use it anyway because it's the right way to do it. No, come on. Array, and we want a rectangular array, and we want to change the count. Actually, we want to change the rows. And how many risers do we have? 14 risers. So we want 15 steps. And distance between them is going to be 11 inches. And you're not going to increment in elevation, and the columns, we only want 1. That's perfect. Now, this does associative arrays, which means this whole thing is kind of one object, and I'm not really fond of it. I generally just explode them, to be honest. I'll do a count here and make sure we got 15 here, which means we should have 14 steps. No, this top one here is a step. So there we go. That's how it is. There's actually space underneath here, and for whatever reason, my brother didn't call out the door. There's supposed to be a door in here somewhere. We'll get that information later. For right now, let's go ahead and do some more cleanup. So I'm going to just... that was the old English way to spell overkill. Let's go ahead and just pick that, click OK, and it didn't do anything. But I just like to make sure. We're going to go and run pedit And that just lets us, I'm going to select multiple, I'm going to pick everything, and I want to convert anything that's not a polyline to a polyline, and then I want to join them all. And I want to make sure that they only join if they're right on top of each other. So what this means is that this is now one segment, and that's all one segment, and that should be all one segment. There we go. And that way we're not working with individual lines anymore. It just makes things a little more clean. For whatever reason, it decided that that was going to be part of it. So I guess let's do these separately. Multiple, and we'll do, let's do this. I'm going to isolate the interior layers, and we're going to go edit, multiple, select it all, yes, join, zero tolerance, unisolate the layers. So that should be, yeah, that's what we're looking for. Great. Do the same thing with the exterior walls. Yes, we want to join, or we want to make them polylines if they're not already. We want to join them. There we go. So now we have single individual, or single polylines for each segment. And we don't need to worry about doing that to the steps because, you know, they don't touch anything else. They don't touch anything else on their own layer. So we got that in. Let's go ahead and make a door block. So that's the next thing to do here. So I'm just going to out here switch to layer 0. I'm going to make a line that's 1 inch tall. I can make another line that's 1 inch long. I'm going to make a circle that's, you know, diameter of 2 inches. And I'm going to trim that off and get rid of that. And I'm going to turn this into a block. And this is, you know, it's super makeshift, but it'll work. Let's see. So we're going to type block, and we're going to call it door. I'm going to pick the base point because I don't want it to assume that it's a 0, 0 on this drawing. And there we go. And let's go ahead and open the block in the block editor. Now the reason why I made it 1 inch by 1 inch is because it means we can scale it up really easily and down really easily just by the number of inches it is. So for example, if I need a door that's 2'4", I can just scale it up. What would that be? 28 times, and it'll be the correct size. That's kind of just an old convention that I've followed. Again, this is something that's a shop standard from the place that I used to work. What we're going to do is we're going to make this into a dynamic block because I don't really like to mess with it. I freaking hate rotating blocks and all that rubbish that goes along with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this dynamic, and we're going to start by making it so that the whole thing can scale. So we're going to take that, we're going to make that here, we're going to say we only want one handle. It's going to be right there. It's in the second click. We're going to change the name of it to width. And then we also want to have it rotate. So we're going to add a rotation parameter in here. It's kind of a dumb place to make it rotate. I'm just going to have it point it somewhere in the middle, like right there. Base angle is 0. We want 1 grip. We'll call this a rotation. And then we're going to go ahead and drive those actions. So we want to use a stretch first, and we're going to select that parameter, and that's where it's going to live. We're going to pick, not stretch, sorry, scale. My bad. Scale. It's like, what on earth? We're drawing a second point here. So we select objects, and I want to scale everything. And now that's going to scale. I'll show you in the drawing in just a sec. We're going to go ahead and make this rotate as well. We got the parameter in there. We're going to drive the parameter. We want to rotate everything with it. I want to make sure that the rotation parameter, the driven rotation parameter, is actually included in my selection set for changing the size so that my rotation thing doesn't stay less than 1 inch out. So let's modify selection set and just say, okay, good enough. Save that, close that, and we've got this block now. And what we can do is we can take this handle, we can rotate it, we can take this grip right here, and we can scale it. What we can't do right now with it is mirror it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 more parameters on this thing. We're going to do flipping it 2 ways. So let's add a flip right here, and it's going to, oops, flip. It's going to be there to there. Flip state 1, we want 1 grip. It does it the exact opposite way that I expected. Come on, guys. Autodesk. Is it the same way I just did it? It totally is. You guys know what the definition of insanity is? Okay, first click is where it's going to flip. We want 1 grip. There it is. We're going to actually take that grip. We're going to move it down somewhere in the middle. And we're going to call this hinge direction. And then we're going to add another flip parameter in here. Flip. It's going to take the second point. I'm working from this way because I don't want to have to monkey with trying to get parameters out from underneath each other. As it turns out, I'm going to have to do that anyway. So let's see, we got that one. I'm going to pull that so it's in the middle here somewhere. And we'll call that swing. So that'll determine whether or not, you know what, it doesn't really matter what we call these because we're going to be doing it manually. We're not going to worry about these. I'm actually going to take both of these parameters and I'm going to say show properties no, so they're not going to show up in the properties dialog. And so the names of them don't really make a difference. Pardon me. Again, this is all stuff that you'd have to figure out if you are, this is all things that you want to figure out beforehand when you're building it, like a more official block library. And this is, like I said, this is kind of just a hack. I'm putting this together as fast as I can just to make it happen. So now we need to drive those parameters. So let's go ahead and say we want to make a flip. We want to use hinge direction. Select objects. We want to flip everything. We want to do the same thing again. We want to do another flip. Have that. We want to select everything. And now we just need to make sure that they all scale and rotate. So we need to modify this scale and selection set. So modify selection set. Grab everything. Grab the selection set here for this and modify that as well. And there we go. Okay, so now we have these 2 handles here, so we can flip it that way and that way. We can scale it and everything moves with it. And we can rotate it. And that's good. So here's what we do now. Pull this over and we just drop the doors in. So this door opens on the inside. I'm going to go and drop that right there. We'll flip it. I'm going to rotate it. turn ortho on, and then we just take this whole thing and snap it there. And what we need to do is we need to set this to be on the right layer. So let's go ahead and go here and change it from layer 0. You want to make sure that the contents of your block are on layer 0, and then make that a door. We've got our first door in. So let's work on these doors in here now. So I'm going to copy that. And again, because of the way we built this, we can actually just drop it in wherever, and we can flip it without having to worry about making sure it's on the right side or whatever. I mean, just as long as you put the anchor point on the side that's going to be that the door is going to be opening in on, then you're good. I think that's how that one works. Such a weird space, man. Such a strange space. And then we have this one here. I'm just going to take that, rotate it. It's 2, 3, and that's 2, 6. Okay. For some reason I thought they were the same. There we go. We have a 2, 6 door there. And the hinge is on that side, so we'll grab that. Put the hinge there. And then we can just flip it. Come on. Oh my gosh, again, with the individual picking thing, I'm so not good at that. Okay, we'll copy that. And drop that one right there. Flip this guy. And that, I believe, is how that one sits. And then we got this door here to drop in, and I think those are the only doors. Yeah. Okay. And that is going to be hinged on that side. We'll go ahead and flip that. Scale it down. Okay. So we have our doors, walls, windows, and stairs in. Let's go ahead. Our doors, windows, walls. We don't have our windows. Let me try that one more again. We got our doors, our walls, and our stairs in. Let's go ahead and add our windows. So let's just do that there. For the sake of time, again, this isn't. This doesn't have to be like a super duper crazy polished project. This just needs to be something that shows the existing conditions. I'm going to actually just drop a line in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my layer that I'm operating on here to layer 0 to the glazing. Here we go. I'm actually just going to drop a line in just like that. And that is going to do a nice job at showing where windows are. And then we can call out later kind of more about them. And if we need to do elevations at some point, we'll do them. That shouldn't be an issue. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I want to do kind of a dashed lines above the doors to show you kind of where you have overhead on the wall. So let me see if I think we've got a layer for that. Let me double check here. So like a floor overhead. Overhead. Here we go. And then I'm just gonna actually draw a rectangle in here. And you'll notice that this isn't coming in at the right size, and it's because the line type scale is set to 1, and the line type scale of this is also set to 1, and the line properties are such that it's not going to display very big. So we need to get that scaled up. This needs to scale up actually 24 times because we're going to be printing at 1/4 inch. So let's see here. I'm going to switch to 1/4 inch, and let's change my variables here. That's good. That's good. That's not good. So apparently 24 is too big for this. What on earth? There we go. So let's change the LTS here to 24. That's what we want. Okay, let's go ahead and add these in. And that actually opens all the way up to the ceiling. And that should be all the overhead doors as it stands right now. So the next thing to do would be to put some plumbing and mechanical and stuff like that in. And so let's work on plumbing here. And then let's also label the rooms here and the stairs. All right. So what we want is a toilet and a sink. We don't know how big the sink is. We know kind of where the toilet is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go online and actually just find a here we go. That's all I wanted, just a stinking toilet. Okay, so let's make that into a block really quick. I could have drawn that faster, huh? Let's pick a base point and stick it right there. We'll click OK. Take everything, stick it on layer 0. I'm going to take the whole thing and I'm going to rotate it so that's facing up. And because I'm going to be using this again, I'm actually just going to add a rotational parameter on here really quick. And that way, when push comes to shove, I don't have to monkey with the rotation command. Let's see here, this is going to be called rotation. Let's drive that real quick. Want the whole thing. I'm going to take that, copy that, go up to drawing 1, which, like a genius, I haven't saved yet. That's probably something we should do right about now. Let's go ahead and close that. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to stick it here on Google Drive. Actually, I'm just going to stick it on my desktop. F0. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to stick this here, and then by law in the United States, you have to have 15 inches on either side from the center of the toilet. So I'm going to move this over 15 inches. And then this needs to be on a plumbing layer, so let's go ahead and, not the wall layer. Don't tell me I didn't put a plumbing layer on here. Oh, guys, this is how it goes. Is it under floor? Again, this is probably one of those instances in which you're like seeing it and screaming it out, and I'm just not seeing it. Let's take a look real quick. I don't think I've got a plumbing layer in here. So I'm going to jump over to the AIA standards. This is National CAD standard, again for the United States, and those are all prefixes we don't need to worry about. And piping, like plumbing. Plumbing layer list. Floor fixture. Huh. I had no idea. All right. Floor fixture. Which isn't in there. Which means we need to make it. So let's go ahead and make a new layer here. And I'm just going to select that as our template. I'm going to call it a floor fixture. And that's going to go here. So we'll make that color 112 as well. Normally you don't want to have things the same color if you can get around it, but right now let's just get this done. For fixture, here we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a line here, pull it over another 15 inches, and I know that there's a sink in here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to say 18 inches. Come on. There we go. I'm actually going to pull this back. And I'm going to pull it forward again 2 inches because it's got a backsplash on it. And there's a sink in like the middle of this, so this whole thing is going to be on a millwork layer. Let's find millwork. So as funny as this sounds, I'm not terribly familiar with the AIA layering system, specifically because a lot of the architects that I work with don't use it. They all have kind of their own separate thing going on, and so it's always just a matter of kind of tossing stuff around. And again, this is because right now I am working in a lighting design firm, and so we build on top of architects' drawings. We're not doing the architectural drawings ourselves. So let's see if I can find it here. casework. Floor case is what we want. Here we go. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw in. Let's see, how big is that? Take that, push it in 2 inches, 2 inches. Take that. How big is that? Come on, there we go. Pull that over 9 inches. I think it's an oval sink, so then we're going to do an ellipse. So we're going to pick the center, and then we're going to pick one point of the axis. Oh, no, hang on. I don't use the center. There we go. Specify one, specify another. There we go. I probably just made it painfully clear that I don't really use the ellipse tool. Okay. So that's kind of our plumbing there. And we've got a faucet, our shower head there. So I'm just going to draw a triangle. Yep. Polygon. 3-sided. Specify the center. We want it to be inscribed. Inscribed is fantastic. And we want that to be 1 inch. Let's do rotation by reference here. There we go. We'll scale this up a little bit because, that's kind of crazy small. Scale that. Let's make it 2 times bigger. And then we're going to have some demarcation here to show where the center is. It's got a drain. And that should do it for that. Let's go ahead and add our labels and then we should be good. So what layer do we put labels on? Probably area. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like area is the only one that might be a candidate. So we're going to go here. We don't have room numbers. We're not going to worry about room numbers right now. We're just going to go ahead and text these in. And this is going to say bedroom 1. And this is going to look like crap right now because we don't have any text styles. So we're going to have to set a text style here. So open up the style command. We'll make a new one. We call this room names. Font is going to be, come on. Don't tell me I don't have Century Gothic on here. There we go. Century Gothic. I kind of like Century Gothic. It's going to be annotative. The paper text height on this is going to be, let's say an 1/8 of an inch. And take this guy, make sure that he is on the room names. And that it's centered. I'm going to center that up. Actually, you know what? I did it the wrong way. Centering inside of the the text itself can have some kind of frustrating consequences down the road if you're trying to make edits. So if you center in the properties, it actually works a little better. So let's see here. Top left, we want top center. It's going to be this is going to be kind of a living room. Call it stair hall. Call that bath. Bedroom 2. When this gets renovated, this area right here is going to be a kitchen dining area. Come on. Don't get all squirrely on me like that. There we go. And this is going to be storage. So let's make this look a little nicer here. And we'll put it right there. Just get a little finicky with this. Sorry, guys. I want to make sure it looks decent. Okay. So things that we don't have in here, we don't have the this kind of under front step storage. We don't have this little wall that's sticking out on the end. If you look right here, we got that in this space here. But this isn't fully dimensioned, so I'm just going to call it good at this point. So that should wrap it up for this video. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. And in my next video, we're going to go ahead and draw the second level here. So I will see you then. Oh, hey, if you're still around, I'm running a Patreon campaign to help me kind of fund making these videos. These videos take a little bit of time to make, and they're outside of my normal work expenses. And so if you want to become my patron, that'd be fantastic. And what this does is it means that I can devote a little bit more of my time to creating these videos and keeping the quality of them high. And you can also get more videos, and you can have more direct feedback in what gets produced. So if you want to head over to my Patreon page, there's a link for that down in the description as well. And I will see you in the next video.